oh, wow, this is a good spot to see. I can see everyone. This isn't so bad. Oh. Do I have to repeat everything? I've been praying and praying that I don't say anything stupid. You just worry about that, but sure it is good to see all the old faces. I definitely have a tough act to follow, actually 2 tough acts to follow. Lizzie Lou, it's awful good that you joined us. It's really neat, brings back a lot of memories. Nora Irvin, a lot of you remember Nora. I think she was a best friend to everyone, especially me. And she said Lizzie Lou happens to be Nora's daughter-in-law. Beth is Nora's daughter-in-law. But Nora told me one time, she says, I don't know what Beth is up to. She says, she told me she's going to start dressing up like some silly, crazy old woman. And she come down and she asked me if she could have some old dress, something that she had. And I told her, sure, go to my closet. She said she got the dress out that I wore last Sunday to church. I always thought Nora looked so good, and she was such a pleasant, happy person. But there's been a lot of people like that here. There's awful special memories. Getting this together, I've strolled down memory lane with John and Becky and Charlotte and everyone, and it's just been awesome, the experience that we have. We do have a guest book out there. If you didn't sign up, please do. It's the same guest book we used for our 25th anniversary, and we want to keep record of who is here. Also, the dinner is ready downstairs. Please feel welcome to stay. We would love to have you stay and visit some more with us. They asked me to do the history, and if you really want to get into the roots and the genealogy of Pleasant Prairie, you could go back to the 1800s. And the way you can do that is south of here, about 3.5 miles, there was a little town that the only thing left of it now is the cemetery. But it was called West Union, and it was a pretty progressive little town, I guess. In that cemetery, there was a little church called New Hope Baptist Church. And John, my husband John, he attended there as a small child. Henrietta and her husband, Henrietta's back there, and Orlean, they attended that church. And it was a nice, pleasant little church with a vision. And but in 1960, and that church was so old, that's where we get the 1800s. But in 1960, a tornado hit that church, and it didn't demolish it, but it put it off the foundation, and it had to be torn down. And the church vision was growth, and they had already purchased a little schoolhouse that was about a block south of there, and it was a little one-room schoolhouse. And so they didn't miss a single service. They went right on and started having Sunday school and church in that little church or little school, and that's where my family started to attend. This seemed to bring a revival within the community, and that little schoolhouse just popped open with people coming to it, and it just was real progressive. We started in making plans for growth, which was 2 building projects. That is where John and I was both saved, was at New Hope Baptist Church. It was in 1968 with the building project, and what was really good started turning really bad. And we worked. We definitely tried to get things to work out, and they didn't work out. And a large part of the congregation left. And it was a heartbreak situation leaving a church that you don't want to leave. But that's what happened. And several months passed, and a family decided that we should have a reunion. And that was the Lawrence family. It was Grandma and Grandpa Lawrence. They had 3 daughters with their families and a son with their families. And they decided that we should have a reunion. And the son, who was Harlan and Lawrence, and his wife Lorraine, and they had 3 children, Grace, Peggy, and Doc. They had a dairy farm over south of Cleveland. on the state line on the Kansas side. So Pleasant Prairie really started out in Kansas. And they invited us there for a reunion on Palm Sunday. And right away we started making plans for Easter service, which included a carry-in dinner, of course. We were Baptists. And we decided to start a new church. Well, the word got out in the community. And we had good community support, definitely good community support, because we had not one offer but two offers of free land. And that was amazing. The two-story house that's right down the road, Howard and Hazel Graw lived there. And they gave us 2 acres to start with. And then we purchased 3 acres later, which was our total of 5 acres. We were also offered 2 acres of land, or I don't know how many acres, but land south of here about a mile and a half by Mary Ellen and Kenneth Graw. And we ended up here. But back to the barn just for a second. They would bring the piano in the back of a pickup. And so we had special music all the way through. We had Sunday school, a lot of times underneath shade trees, and if the weather was bad, in the house. It was a huge undertaking for this family to get us and keep us together. Well, we ended up right away starting to make the plans. Well, I was reading through the history, and I think you'll get a kick out of this. The lady, Lorraine, I was reading her history, and she said that one Wednesday night that the children didn't show up for the service, and when they went to find them, they found them watching Mama Pig have babies. So you learn a lot at church, I thought that was the question of where baby pigs come from, didn't have to be asking for those children. But that year, 1968, the building process started. And it was the basement downstairs that you all are under, our fellowship hall. And it was started and completed, and we moved in October. And it was a good thing because you know what the winter months could bring. Churches within the community helped us out. First Baptist Church of Belton was on Main Street then, which it's Heartland now, but then it was on Main Street of Belton. They gave us, I don't know which church gave us what, but we got some old wooden pews, and we got songbooks, and we got a minister from the First Baptist Church up at Belton, a young man that had 4 children and a wife that was going through seminary. And so we had help out through that. We had a naming contest, which Nora Irvin, I mentioned. She's the one that came up with Pleasant Prairie for, the beauty of the place. Plus, there was a little town here at one time called Pleasant Prairie. And the only thing left of it is this direction. On the other side of the road is the one-room schoolhouse that's converted into a house now. So the basement was dug and fixed up and ready to go. In 1970, the area that you're in was built. Are we going to be having the video?
Well, not during the service. I don't know if I have time.
Okay, we've got a video, or Brother Jim has put together.
There's about 50 copies people can get back.
Okay. He put together an awesome video with pictures in it of what I'm describing here. But in 1970, we went on up with where you're sitting, and a little building out here in the country, no steeple, but it was a church, and we're very, very proud of it. We've always been very proud of it. In 1979, we decided, okay, we needed more area. We needed more. So the area that this area here, there was a basement poured that, where the classrooms are downstairs. It was our vision, and it was a vision for 5 years. The basement sat empty, and there wasn't even a roof on it. It was the 4 sides, and that was